All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. And let me see my new intro. See if I got it playing. All right. All right, this is kind of like a trial run. Golly, I just don't know. It's gonna take me a minute to really learn all this stuff. So I'm trying a new software instead of the Yard Stream, which is a little bit easier. I'm doing this OBS, which is a better stream. So I'm going to see how this right here work. And I mean, you can do certain things here, like if I gotta make myself bigger and stuff like that. I could transition over to that, or I can go back to how it was. And I'm just trying to see how this thing is going to work out. So this is the stream that I'm really kind of focused on. I can possibly make this right here smaller and make that smaller, and then I can make where I'm at, I can make it bigger and kind of move it around. So this right here works really. It looks like it's a little bit more. It's gonna take me a minute to kind of get used to it because I gotta. Let me see. There's a couple things I gotta work out. A couple items I gotta fix, and and hopefully I can get something going here. So this is kind of what we got here, but this video is going to be about knowing your costs. Okay, and I think I got my mic and everything on, and I hope that intro worked okay. I didn't hear any sound on it, so I don't know if it worked okay. Yesterday, yesterday or the day before yesterday, I talked with a builder, and I just reached out to him. We kind of had this little conversation about let me just kind of you know it was just about what gets builders in trouble. And I think one of the main things that gets builders in trouble, because I was saying it is extremely hard to build today. I mean, it's almost impossible. You get down to the end, and there are expectations of the homeowners. The builder's trying to keep costs. He's trying to keep everything cost because a lot of times the builders know, especially if you did a guaranteed maximum price, you know that when you get down to the end, every time there's something that's an issue, or there's a problem, or there's something else that the homeowner wants that you didn't know whether or not you agreed upon. It's kind of, sometimes the contract gets a little confusing and things like that. When it gets close to the end, that's when things kind of get a little tricky. And at that point, it gets to the point to where you know that every time there's an issue, you're going to be losing profit. And that's a bad feeling, especially when you get to the end and everything gets kind of tight. And like I said, there are expectations today, guys, and I get it. In today's market, um, you know, things are just going up. Cost is going up, and it's almost you can't really, to be honest with you, you can't really control the suppliers. It's the suppliers that's creating the big issues that we're seeing, and they're going up on cost because they can. I don't think it's necessarily inflation anymore. I used to think it was inflation, but I don't think that's the key. I think they're just getting profit. You get these concrete companies. There's probably about 3 to 4 concrete companies in town. That's it. And even those 3 to 4 concrete companies are owned probably all by the same person. I'm just, you know, guys, I'm speculating, but to a degree, some of that is probably true. But what's happening is they're just raising costs because they can. Because if there's only 3 to 4 concrete companies, and those guys are actually colluding with one another, so they're actually talking. I mean, we can say that it's probably not ethical for them to collude on costs and stuff like that, but they do. those guys in an organization and club together. No different than builders are somewhat in a club together. We know, we talk, we understand each other's costs. So this is what's going on, and and if you got to, and I'm just using concrete companies. I'm not saying that concrete companies in town in town is doing this, but those are typically the guys that is only maybe 3 or 4 companies in the whole region or in the whole state sometimes that's kind of running. But they go up on cost. What are you gonna do? Where are you gonna get concrete from? It's not like somebody can go out there and compete with them. It's not like another startup company can start up and go buy all the trucks and the land to mine the aggregates and stuff like that. I mean, that's you can't do that. So these companies are getting together and they're just running these costs up and they're getting record margins. So I don't really think it's necessarily inflation. So we can sit here and say, man, it's inflation. And not only that, those costs, the supply on the supply side, those costs are going to drive your subcontractors cost up too, because if you're dealing with subcontractors like mechanical, electrical, and plumbers and MEPs and just anybody that's going to get the product and bring it to you, well, they got to go up on the product. So you really can't pinpoint cost anymore. It's really, really hard, guys. But I'm going to talk about a couple of different things. Let me just see. And this is kind of going to be my. I had a couple of things here, but let me see. So the first thing you got to do is you got to know your costs. Now, how do you know your costs? How do you figure out what your cost is? Well, you have to, in the construction industry and building, there's a couple different ways you can calculate your costs. Back in the day, they used to do what they call they used to do a square footage cost. Now, you got some builders today that's still doing the same thing, guys. They're doing that square footage cost. Don't do that, guys. I even have a lot of homeowners that come to me and that ask me, they'll say, well, how much does it cost per square foot to build right now? And I get funny, I say, I have a rebuttal that's kind of funny to them. I ask them, well, how much do you pay for your car per pound? See, it's the same thing. You really don't know, because it depends on what you have in that car is going to drive that cost. Same thing with a house. Is what you have in that house is going to drive the cost of that house. And typically, guys, when you deal with the bathrooms and kitchens, that's where your costs go up, especially on the master bathroom and the kitchen. You usually have one kitchen, but master bathroom and the kitchen is where the cost is driven up. That's where that's where you have to pay the most per square foot. If I calculate it like that, that's where you pay the most in any particular room. So I try to get out of there. Now I actually help them out in most cases. I go to the homeowner and I say, hey, look, um, I can give you something, like give you some numbers that you can use so that you kind of have a ballpark figure range. And like I said, I would do that. And I base it on information that I got on prior homes that I built. But I give them something that they can go to the bank because they need to know, it's only fair to them that they know how much they need to know how much to get a loan for. They got to go get, they got to go secure financing in most cases. Unless you just go in there and you just, there's not a lot of people that can just go write a check for the whole cost of the house. I mean, I've seen people that can, but for the most part, they need to go get financing, and that becomes very tricky. So I will give them a guarantee. I'm sorry, I will give them a cost plus, somewhat, so they can start that process, and not always be a little over. But now the best way to do it, guys, would be um, itemization of the cost. Okay, a good itemization of the cost is probably the best way to do it. And I can kind of, let's see if I can. Go, I'm sorry, guys. Let me see if I can break this record down and get it to where we can kind of look at my screen here. And what I do is I went and got some software for this right here. So um, this software, by the way, guys, this is actually my website here. You can guys kind of go here and kind of look at. You got me and my son on there, and these are some of the services that I do as well. Look like I need to adjust that. Look like it's kind of off balance. I got to go ahead and fix this stuff again. Well, it may just be the screen is not big enough. So it's kind of my website. But guys, I got this software here, and if you guys ever, this is how I come up with my costs, and this software is called. And guys, I'm not making any money from these guys, but this software is actually called. Let me get another screen right here. It's called Build Exact. Let's see if I can see they got a website here. Build Exact. And I think these guys are from a whole nother country because of, just going through some of the software. I know the German Shepherd was going to start acting a fool. He's trying to see what's going on, but he'll make a little noise. I apologize. Let me just see. This right here is the software here. Let's see if I got it. Yeah, so if you guys want to go on this website and look at this right here. Now, the reason I like this software is that I can do my own takeoff. I can come here and I can actually upload the plans into the software, and there's a web-based software, so I can upload it into the plans into the software, the web-based software. Then once I upload it, I can calibrate the plans, and I can actually do this. I can highlight areas and give me square footage and things like that. So I can look at every part. And guys, you really have to go through every part of the house and break everything down. As you can kind of see right here, if I, gosh, let me see if I can find something that I've done. Let's see, completed jobs. I'm trying to find a project I've done. So 80/30. This is actually my house right here, guys. So shouldn't be bad to show you guys. So on this right here software, guys, we can go through and let me see if I can get actual costs. You can go through and you can see what I went over on things, but I have every line item, guys. I went everything I thought that it cost in this, and you're gonna get some things wrong too. You're gonna miss some things and things you're gonna overlook. But each one of these right here actually breaks down. So, even on the administrative side, admin and general requirements and things like that. So the more I build, I add more and more to this right here software, and it grows like your foundation. I can go through here, and then you can get a better idea of the next time you build a house, the cost is going to be. So you get a little bit. The more information you put into this data, the better it gets. And so I suggest you guys, if you're going to build something, if you're going to build something, if you're going to get an itemization, guys, you need to get some kind of software like this right here. So you kind of get estimations and stuff like that. Guys, you need to get a software package or something that you can use to break down line item per line item. And if you can do it, you actually need to get to the point where you need to be calculating the number of nails that you're using. Now, the problem with this is, once again, guys, I can kind of piggyback off of that builder in a truck. Back in the day, you had a builder in a truck. He kind of had an idea what things cost, kind of kept track of it, and he worked it out. The building industry has changed. It has changed so much. Cost is so different now. Things are just so different now. It's almost impossible if you're not just sitting there estimating. You really need a full-time estimator, just estimate costs. If you're going to be a successful builder, that's why I talk to a lot of guys, and the builder that I talk to, we talk. I said, look, guys, if you guys are going to be successful as builders, you're gonna have to get a team of guys. Just, you guys all kind of similarly know what you're doing, and you guys are gonna have to merge up, and you guys are gonna have to each you take the strength of each one of you guys. Somebody may be better at estimating than others, or even just hire an estimator, or hire an investor, or hire somebody that knows how to go get investors, and or hire somebody who really understands production, production management, and know how to manage production. And then you got to have the administrative side. You got to have somebody keeping up with the money. You got to have somebody that's really, really focused. And I think estimation is just one of those things. You better just really have this guy, or have this guy, gal, doesn't matter, but you really better have them just really just kind of really zooming in on this, on the estimating side. Because if you don't get this estimation right, if you don't, man, I'll be honest with you, man, I almost had to go full screen on this right here, guys. If you do not get this estimation right, you will bankrupt your company, and it won't take long. You will kill your company. And not only do you kill your company, you hurt your company, because you're going to go under, but you also hurt someone. If you don't get those costs right, those people are not going to be able to move in their house. They're just not going to be able to do it. And and not only that, guys. I mean, if you use this software that I'm telling you guys about, like this, I mean, you don't have to use this particular. They got all kind of. They got one called Builder Trend and all that kind of stuff. But they got all kind of different software. But you need to have something where you can itemize everything that goes on in that particular house. That particular house. That one house. That particular house. You need to be able to itemize everything in there. And you need to, and sometimes, guys, I'll be honest with you, I lost maybe 3 or 4 jobs, man, because at the end of the day, I went to them, I showed them the cost, and it's like, hey, man, we're gonna go in a different direction. And it is what it is. I did one. It might have been 2 years ago. I gave the homeowners. I quoted it. My cost was way higher than this other builders. It was way higher than. I mean, I might have been $40,000 or $50,000 higher than that builder. Didn't get a job. The homeowners went with another builder. Ironically, something ended up happening. The bank one of the lender institutions that I use, they reached out to me and they gave the homeowner my number, and they called me. And when I pulled, I looked at the house. It was the builder had the builder that they selected on that one house. He didn't finish. He got to the framing part and just didn't finish the rest of the house because he went over budget. He was just underwater on everything. And so I end up finishing the house up anyway. They end up coming back to me, and then of course the homeowner said, "Man, we wish you had just picked you in the first place." Yes, and they end up paying even more than that $40,000 or $50,000 that I was over. They paid probably another 40. I don't know, but it was probably another $40,000 or $50,000 just dealing with legal stuff and crazy stuff that was going on. I had this happen to even one of my good friends. I had a good friend of mine, picked another builder over me. One of my best friends actually picked another builder over me because the cost was better. Cost was another thing. I was much higher, but and then I end up being one of the persons to help finish the house. So guys, we got to get our costs right. We got to get our costs right, man. You got to go through, and you got to have something that's going to help. Either you got a person that you hire, and also there are guys. You can actually go. Let me just see this right here. You can actually go. You can actually go online. A friend of mine showed me this right here. Um, construction estimating services. There are services that you guys can go to. Let me see if this right here. Takeoff, construction takeoff. Let me just see if this right here is it free. It's usually not free, guys. It usually costs about $400 or $500, but let me just see if I can get this right here. Yeah, there's services like this right here that you can send them your plans. You know, they take about maybe a week, and they would estimate every line item per line item what it's going to take to build that house based on those plans. Yeah, this is just one particular one. Um, guys, I'm not selling this product, uh, but it is a product, Alabama Construction. Yeah, and you can put this stuff in there, and these guys are, like I said. And here's the thing, guys, and if you as a builder, you know, it probably costs you about $400 to $500 to get them to do a full takeoff on every item. I'm talking about the light fixtures, everything. Guys, also, I think Lowe's do the same thing. You pay them about $400, and they will do a breakdown of everything that's going to go in that house, that structure. I think it's a residential. They'll do residential. But these guys right here, they do the same thing. They probably cost you $400. Well, hey man, we got to get into the habit of just telling the homeowners, hey, look here, guys, you can pay. Make them pay for your quotes. There's a difference between estimate and quote, guys. If you're going to give a quote, you're saying that this is what it's going to cost. But make them pay. If the company costs you $400 to do, charge them another $600. Hey, and you got the quote now. And that way, if you go deal with another builder, you can see what everything costs, and you can check him if need be. If you don't want to use me, you can make sure you can check that other builder to make sure he got his costs together. He or she got their costs together. This is the way you need to do it, but you got to know your costs, man. If you don't know your costs, you're going to be in trouble. You can't finish a job if you don't know what it's going to cost you, builders. You got to know those costs, and you got to break things down. That contract. You got to have stuff in the contract. If I go over on this, now typically what I do, and I've done this in a situation, but if you go over it, and you should do it by line items, guys. So if I'm looking at this right here, I don't like to do. Once again, I don't like to do. I don't like to do guaranteed maximum price. It's just going to be a cost plus on me. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be, guys. This is the way you have to do it. You see, and I knew that would happen I knew I would lose my screen, so I got to grab my screen again. For some reason, I always have a problem with the screen capturing. It's going to do this, and then I got to go back and grab it again. Sometimes it just, I don't know, and I got it linked up to the computer. I got it linked up in a way. I just don't know why it does that. Let me see. There they go again. So let me see the jobs here. Let's see. If I go back, let's go back to this guy right here again. So this is mine here. So guys, if you go here and this house was done about 4 years, 4 years ago, I think I did this house. But you got to go through here. You got to have every line item broken down, and what you want to do. And what I would do is, when you're dealing with the customers, I would have each one of these line items, and I'd have a cost. This is what it needs to cost right here, or whatever it is, whatever your cost is on that. And if they go over, let them pay the difference. And if they go under, they can keep that and put it somewhere else if need be. I think this is the way to do it. This is why I say always do a cost plus, guys. And you can do it line item per line item, which what I did this one time, and the homeowner, I think on one of them, they went way over on the foundation because you can't control the foundation, guys. You really can't. You don't know how deep you're gonna dig. If you dig too deep, that foundation gonna cost a lot of money. That's the concrete. Like I said, concrete, man. Those guys are just they kind of doing it any kind of way they want to. But the concrete, you just don't know. The lumber package, you really kind of don't know with the lumber package. It's kind of hard to kind of lock those lumber packages in as well. So you don't know. So, but if they go over, like on this one right here, we went over $5,000. They need to pay it. Of course, I was the one that had to pay that on that one. Now, if you're the builder, if you're doing a spec home, which is, I think that's the way people ought to do moving forward, um, the builder got to eat that. You're gonna have to eat that, and hopefully you can find it somewhere else in the house. You know, you can find it maybe doing the siding or something. You can find it $5,000 back, but you got to go through each and every last one of these items, guys, and you got to get these costs right. Because you know that's not helping. If the builder don't get his costs right, it's not helping the builder, and it's dang on sure not helping the homeowner. Because now the homeowner can't. They got to either spend way more money that they didn't anticipate, and the builder can't finish. This is where you don't want to be. So that was some of the things I want to talk about. And I think I'm gonna do a two-part on this right here. I think um, the next, the next stream I'm gonna do is gonna be builder etiquette. Hey guys, also what I need you guys to do is if you guys can do this, just you know, if you get a chance, just go here and you know, go, like, subscribe, and also send me, if you guys have any just any kind of content that you want me to talk about or discuss, send that to me. Go on the comment section and send that to me and let me know because I'm really out here just trying to really help people understand on both sides, homeowners and builders. Just understand on both sides what we need to be doing, what we need to be working on, and how we need to be working. Because if we're not working together, we're not gonna. It's gonna be difficult. It's not helping anybody. Me as a builder, if I build something that can't finish, a homeowner, I gave them unrealistic expectations on costs and things like that. It's not going to help anybody out. So you got to be transparent on that cost. And like I said, one more thing, let them pay. Let them pay the bills. I mean, that's just another option. Because a lot of time they think you're not paying the bills for whatever reason. I had a homeowner even tell me, he said, well, you using my money to pay another site that you're doing. I actually released an itemization of everything that I paid for on that site, on his site. I said, hey, look, if you don't believe I'm paying, here you go, guys. I keep a folder. Let me show you right behind me. You guys can see this right here. This is one house right here, guys. And you can kind of see that this right here almost looks like a telephone book. This is one house. I keep an itemization of every bill that was paid. And once I pay that invoice, I put it to the other side. Those guys were paid. I stamp it. I mean, you can see, let's see, I have it where I stamp. But once I pay them, I stamp. And then I also have additional. So, guys, not only that, man, I go here. Let me see if I can find this right here. This is something else that I do, guys. It's something else you guys need to get savvy with. Let's pull this right here. So I also, see if I can pull this up. Let me see. Alpha. Let me see. Alpha. In construction. Structure phase. So like right here, well, this is one right here. So I keep an itemization, guys, of every check I write. And I don't write a check. Where's this thing at? I don't write a check. Let's see this right here. Let's see if I can get it. I can pull it up. This is something else. And I also, you can see I kind of got things color coded too. So that yellow go with the yellow folder that I have. And this is the checkbook that I use. So this is the count that I use. And I don't, nothing happens on that. Let's see. Yeah. Nothing happens on that house without me writing a check. I don't swipe cards, anything like that. Everything is written by check. So you can kind of see that. So what I actually do, I'm just gonna kind of give you an idea of what I have here. Let's see if I can pull this over here in this screen. You know, this software stuff really does kind of slow your computer down just a tad bit, so it doesn't. So it makes it kind of hard. So let me do this. Oops. Come on, buddy. One day I have all this stuff right here just really just down packed, man. I'll be switching through channels and stuff like that. But you can see right here, this is an itemization of every check that was written on this house. I write it and I can produce this at will. I can see what things are going wrong. I keep it there. I keep it in the checkbook. And I also, guys, let me just pull this right here out the way. All right. So this is everything that happens in the house. I wrote a check for it. And also I keep it here, guys. So I can go right here. And this right here, I keep an itemization, this is actual costings. I keep an itemization of everything that was spent. I'll tell you right here. And then I also got a little area over here to tell you who the check and what check was written. Checks and balances. Everything got to match up at the end. Now, most people will have an accountant to do something like this right here, which is fine. But you need to do it. You need to keep up with your costs. And you need to be able to put yourself in a position to where when it starts to get down toward the end, because see, everything is good at the beginning. You're happy, they see the foundation. Wow, they're excited. Framing part, and everybody's saying, man, it's really moving, guys. They're gonna shake your hand. They're gonna, hey man, you the greatest builder in the world. Then what's gonna happen is, when the after you, guys, after you after you start getting down to the end, it's gonna start changing. Money's gonna start to run out. This is when everybody is gonna show their ass. That's what's gonna happen. Everybody's gonna start. The homeowner's gonna, their money start running out. Like I said, everybody's happy on the front end. When things start to get, and not only that, man, it's taking a long time to get in the house because things take longer now, and they expected to be in this house. You're never gonna meet your deadline. I'm telling you that right now. But it's very rare that you meet the deadline. But think about this, guys. Keep this in mind. I'm gonna try this right here. My exit, not my lightning one, but I'm gonna try this right here. All right, guys. Hey, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. A thumbs up, a thumbs down. Let me know what I need to work on. I just think that we need to get this information and share it. You guys have a good day. Let's see if I can do that.